Hello and welcome to the Nerdy Teacher with me, Linda. I'm here this week to give you some new ideas and tips on how to use Google Docs to make your life easier and take you into the future of technology. So without any further ado, let's dive in and have a look at Google Docs. So we're going to go to the Format tab and go to Bullets and Numbering. So you're probably already familiar with a numbered list and the bulleted list. But something that is quite new in Google Docs is the checklist. So here we've got two options. Let's check both of them out. So I'm clicking on the first option on the left and it's giving me a little square checkbox so I can make my to-do list. Hitting enter to go to a new line, as always with the bullet points. And now I've got my very short to-do list, not representative of real life in the slightest. My real to-do list is much longer than this. So as I go through my day and get on with my jobs, I can check the box. And the list, not only does it check the box, but it scores out very satisfyingly the task that has been completed. Fantastic. Let's try out the other checklist type. So I'm going to Format again, Bullets and Numbering, and down to Checklist, and we're going for the one on the right. So let's make another to-do list. And this time, once I've completed a task, I can check the box and it's not crossing off in such a satisfying way this time, but it is leaving a tick beside the item to show that it's been done. And the text is still more legible that way. So I guess depending on who the checklist is for, if it's something you have to share with someone else, perhaps the second option would be better. But for me, if I was doing this for myself, I would definitely be going with option one. Very satisfying, a nice big teachery tick and crossing off the item on the list. Our next Google Docs feature is Insert Chip. So I'm going to take you to the Insert menu and go down to Smart Chips. So these are useful for specific kinds of documents, and I'm going to show you all 5 of them, starting off with Date. So as soon as I click Date, it's come up with a little calendar, and it's asking me, well, what date, and there's also the option for time. So for example, if I'm keeping meeting minutes for a meeting that I'm having on Tuesday at 9, I can input that date and time, and I can make my meeting notes. Once I'm ready, I can click on the date, and the option here allows me to book a meeting, which is then going to take me directly to my calendar. At that time, set for a 30-minute meeting, it would pull over the title of the document as the meeting title, and it's allowing me to go directly in and make a meeting from that document. Okay. The next smart chip on the list is people. So I can tag some people in my document, and here I've got a list of the people who I've recently contacted with email. So if I want to tag my work email address, and if I click on that smart tag, I can give access quickly and easily to that email address using this document through the share button. If I click on my smart tab, it's opening up the contact details, and I can open the detailed view in the contacts tab and see everything that I need to see. Recent interactions, files that are shared, anything else that I might need to know about that contact. I can directly from there send an email to the contact. schedule an event with them, send them a message, or even start a video call with them. So whatever's going on in this document that I need to immediately talk to that person about, I can do that very quickly. Let's take a look at our next smart chip, and the next smart chip is file. And what's happened here is pulling up the most recently open files, so I can tag them in the document as well. And now I've got the tag for that document. If I click on that drop down, it will open up the document for me directly from there. So you're creating like a link tree almost in your document, your original document, with all the links that you need. Let's close out of that. And we'll take a look at the next smart chip. Insert smart chip, and we're on to calendar event. So again, this is looking at my calendar and pulling through all the upcoming events that I've got on there. So for example, if I click on this event, if I press tab, it'll insert meeting notes for that. So it's using the calendar event to generate meeting notes. And if I click on it, it can take me directly to the calendar again and directly to that event, so that I can see exactly when that is scheduled. And it pops up to show me exactly when it's scheduled on my calendar. And the last smart chip on the list is a place. So it's telling me type to search for places. So I'm going to search for the school that I work in and select it there. And you saw the map popping up, so it's automatically generated a map. And if I click on the smart chip, it's opening Google Maps and it's taking me directly to, there's a nice picture of my school. There it is on the map. It's telling me when I last visited, when it's open, the email, the website address, the telephone number, and all these other bits of information that we might need. So using these smart chips, you can create a really integrated document with all the information and all the connections that are needed. So for example, if someone was coming for a visit to your school, you could put the school address in, you could put in the dates of their visit with the calendar items, you could link any documents that they might need to see and any people that they might need to contact, and all the data is there in one single document. Next feature I'd like to show you is drop down. So this is a feature that I've not used yet, but I actually had a fantastic idea of what to use it for. So I've got here some little close reading questions that I'm going to set the students for homework. So in the space where the missing word goes, I can insert drop down, and I've got the drop down menu options. So there's some pre-made ones by Google, project status and review status, but you can create your own new drop downs. So I'm going to choose 3 words, the ones that fit in each sentence. She baked a great birthday cake for him. The best gift was a tennis racket. This cake is delicious. I'm going to get rid of option 4 and I'm going to call this close reading. Okay, now to make this easier for myself to check, I'm also going to add colours to these. So the colour's not representative of which is the correct answer for each sentence, because I'm going to use the same drop down for each sentence, but I will be aware of what order the drop downs need to be in. Now I've just put them in the right order for the sentences. So let's make that a little bit more difficult for the students and mix them up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to save that. And then in each sentence, I'm going to insert the same drop down. And now I can assign this document as a task to the students. They read the sentence and they choose the answer that they think fits best. And I'm aware of the order of the colours. Maybe I would choose more strong colours for that, because when you are checking homework in Google Classroom, you can actually see a thumbnail of the document. So if I make the text big enough and the colours stand out enough, as long as I know the order of the colours for the correct answers, I don't actually need to open the document in order to mark the homework task, which is going to save me quite a bit of time, especially if I've got a large class of students on Google Classroom, or if I have a shared Google Classroom with a co-teacher, which I do. So I'm not marking homework for just my class, I'm marking it for the 2 classes at once. So that would be a quick glance at the colours. So my final Google Doc feature for you today, I did promise that I would take you into the future. So let's take a look at voice typing, which we'll find in the Tools menu. Here we are, just below Translate Document. I'm going to click on Voice Typing. Now this opens up a little microphone window. It's going to prompt, probably the first time you open it, will prompt you to allow Google Docs to use your microphone. And if you do that, you could very easily create documents just by chatting away. So let's click to speak. Google Docs is asking for permission to use my microphone. Allow. And now Google Docs is listening to me and typing everything I say. Now I've spotted a few errors in this already. Google Docs is not used to my Scottish accent. But the more I use it, the more it gets used to my accent, and the more slowly I speak and the more carefully I use the function. Oh. Interesting. I'm switching off the voice typing because I was not aware that it used the lookup function to identify equations and functions. That's a new voice typing thing. So what I've got here is some unpunctuated text, but it's on the computer and I haven't had to type anything. Last week I used the voice typing to transcribe some notes from a training session that I had in a notepad, and I was dreading finding the time to type them all out and make them make sense. So I opened up voice typing and clicked the microphone and read my notes, and every single note went magically from my piece of paper into a Google document. And then once it was in there, it was actually quite quick work to put in the missing punctuation, correct any spelling mistakes, just basically quickly proofread it before saving and sharing. So a bit of travelling into the future for you there is very useful. I think this would be really useful for giving students feedback. For example, if you're giving feedback on a piece of work and you want to have a record of it, you could either switch on voice typing while you talk to the student and give them the verbal feedback, or if you've read the piece of work and you know what you want to comment on it, open up Google Docs, speak your comments, and then copy and paste them over into the student's document or into whatever you're using to give feedback to your students. So I think that's going to be a real time saver for me. I think particularly when it comes to reporting time and I'm having to write longer report comments about students, it's going to be easier for me to talk through the comments and then go back and edit them rather than spending all the time thinking and typing. I think faster when I'm talking which is maybe not a good thing, but at least I can edit it afterwards. So those were the 4 new features in Google Docs that I wanted to share with you. Till next time, keep your heart in education and your head in EdTech. Goodbye.